Now let's implement home screen for driver. So to get started, we will come up to Google Cloud Console platform, and here we will open APIs and services. You make sure that you are in Uber project. So we'll go to enable APIs and services, and here we will go to map SDK for Android, enable it, then we will come back, go for map SDK for iOS, and here we will enable it. Let's come back, let's go to map SDK for Android, and let's check it's enabled or not. Okay, it's not enabled. We do need to wait, I think so. And now we will go for enabled APIs and services. Here we will go for enabled APIs, map SDK for iOS, and yeah, it's enabled. So map SDK for iOS and map SDK for Android, both are enabled. Now it's time that we populate map inside our driver Uber page. So let's create a provider naming location provider. Okay, let's name it maps provider. So inside driver, we will go to controller, select, go with a new folder, naming it provider. And here we will, in controller, we will go for another folder, services. Inside provider, we will cut paste the bottom navbar, and here we will create a new file, naming it maps provider driver dot dot class maps provider driver extends change notifier. Okay, so now we will create some variables here, static const. So before we go with our map, we do need to make sure that the Google Maps Flutter package is added in our pubspec YAML. So make sure this package is there. So we'll come up to maps provider driver. Here we'll go for static const camera position initial camera position equals to camera position. So now here we will go with like any lat long, so it doesn't depend, you can add any lat long here. So we'll go with lat long, and here we will just add any latitude and longitude. So let's go with 37.4, and longitude let's go with -122. Okay, so here we have to come up with zoom, and it's going to be 14.4746. okay, let's create another variable here. It's going to be final completer, and the type of completer it's going to be Google Map Controller. Map controller driver equals to completer. Okay, so and another variable it's going to be lat long, and it will track the driver's current location. Current location. Now let's write a function to update the current location. So it's going to be update current location. Lat long, and it's going to be new location. Current location equals to new location. And now it's time that we notify listeners. Okay, so now we will head over to driver home screen. Here we will go and initiate the map. So here in body, instead of the center, we will go with stack children. And we have to remove this const. And inside children, we will pass Google Map. So here it's asked for initial camera position. So we will wrap our Google Map. Let's wrap this tag. Okay, we will wrap our Google Map with consumer. So we'll go with consumer. Builder is going to be context, comma, map provider, comma, child. Here consumer, we will go with map provider driver and return Google Map. Okay, so here is initial camera position. It's going to be map provider dot initial so we have to remove this static const thing. Okay, const. We will come up here, map provider dot initial camera position. Now we have to add some of the more parameters. Let's add them. Map type is going to be map type dot normal. Then comes up my location button enabled. It's going to be false. My location enabled. It's going to be true. Zoom gesture, zoom controls enabled. It's going to be false. And zoom gesture enabled, it's going to be true. Let's save it. And there is another function which we want to execute, is that on map created. On map created, we want to execute a function. So it's basically a function here. So basically the meaning is that after the map got created, what you want to execute. So we will go with Google Map controller, and here it's going to be map provider dot map controller driver dot compete controller. Okay, let's save it and let's run the app. And before we load our app, there is a metadata which we do need to add inside our Android app source main, and here comes Android manifest. So inside this file, we have to add a metadata. So we will come up here, go to the alignment, paste up here. This line of code we do need to add up here. So now we will restart our app and let's have a look onto it. Here now we can see that after we reload our app, we add that metadata inside our Android manifest file. Our app has been loaded in home screen. So here in activity and account, and here in home screen, we can find that our map has been opened. So now the next thing is like that we want to animate the camera on the pinpoint where we are. So here I will come to the provider which we just created. Let's close all of them. Let's close whatever we don't need. And here will come driver, provider, maps provider. Okay, so there are some changes here. So from the maps provider driver file, we have removed some of the variables and shifted here. So that variable is map controller driver. So we have cut from here, pasted on the driver home page screen. And we have introduced a new variable here, that is Google Maps controller. So let's see what on map created, what it does. So at first we will assign map controller divider dot complete controller. So basically whenever the map creates, it returns a controller, so we will assign it to him. Then comes up map controller. So basically it's the Google map controller which we have newly created this variable. By default it's null, so we will assign this controller to Google map controller. Then comes up, we will take the driver's current location. Okay, we will take the driver's current location, then we will create a camera position where we will pass the driver's current location, and then at last we will animate the camera to driver's current location. So let's have a look onto it. So by default you will find that we are in a different location, and after the maps get created we are in our current location. So let's restart our application. So right now we are in a different location, and yeah, our maps has been created. As you can see, here is a pointer here, which means that we are in this location. So let's zoom it a little bit. Let's go for 17. Save here. Okay, let's do one thing. Zoom control enable. Let's make it true. Let's it be 14 by default. Let's save it. Okay, I think so. I don't need to restart our application. Let's restart. And here we do have this zoom in and zoom out button. So as you can see, I have set my location here. So here is my location.